Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive, episode 5. And wow, you guys sent in some fascinating stuff. 40 audio files from this More Fat series. Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani, Iranian philosophers. I'm excited to see what wisdom we can unpack together, especially since it's all about Rumi. Quick note, though, because these are translated conversations, we might miss some nuances. Sorry about any discrepancies in advance. Okay, so today we're all about Maulana, also known as Rumi, right? And there's this one line of his that it's so beautiful, but it's like, what does it even mean?
Yeah, that's Rumi for you. Always got to make us think.
Right, he says, whoever became separated from himself became my companion. Like, how can someone be lost and a companion at the same time?
Ah, that's where Rumi's genius shines through, I think. It's a paradox, yeah. But the key is, what does separation even mean to Rumi? It's not like physically being apart. It's about the spirit.
Okay, so not like I moved across the country from my friend. More like
You're disconnected from your true essence, your core, what Sufis call the batan.
batan. Gotta be honest, I'm not familiar with that one.
Think of it like this. Your social media, right? You present the best you. That's your zahir outward appearance. But batan, that's the raw, unfiltered you behind all those perfect photos and witty captions.
Ooh, I like that. So, like, batan is who I am when no one's looking good, bad, and ugly.
Exactly. No pretense. Now, when someone's lost touch with that, that's when they become Rumi's companion, he's saying.
So it's not just anyone who's a bit lost. It's got to be specifically.
People on that path of Sula, the Sufi path of inner transformation, they know they're separated from their true selves and they're aching to reconnect.
So they see Rumi as someone who gets it because he's been there.
Spot on. Dr. Larijani, one of the scholars he sent over, he talks about this. Like, these companions, they vibe with Rumi on such a deep level. It's instinctual. They see their own longing mirrored in him, and suddenly, bam, they feel understood.
Like a secret language only they share.
A language of the heart, yeah. It reminds me of the story Dr. Dinani tells about a Hindu man and a Turk. Became the closest friends, but get this, they didn't speak the same language at all.
Whoa, wait. How is that even possible? I mean, language barriers are tough enough when you do share a language.
Empathy, pure, simple. Dr. Dinani says the language of intimacy is something else. Empathy is better than speaking the same tongue. They connected on that baton level, heart to heart, no words needed.
Man, that's powerful. It makes you think about how often we miss out on connection. We get so hung up on the surface stuff.
We do. Differences instead of what unites us. But Rumi's saying maybe embracing that being lost feeling, that yearning, that's the path to deep connection, ironically.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this paradox works. But how do we do that? Like, practically. It's a noisy world out there. How do you even find that deeper level?
Both Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani are big on inner stillness. Not like become a monk, but creating space, both in your life and your mind.
So, like, my to-do list needs to have be still on it.
In a way, yeah. Dr. Larijani compares it to quieting all that mental chatter so you can hear your soul whisper.
So 5 minutes of meditation, that kind of thing, it actually helps.
It's a start, not about perfection, but practice. And Dr. Dinani adds to it, it's two things. Stillness and actively pursuing knowledge, self-improvement, like two sides of the same coin.
Not just contemplation, but action too.
He calls it polishing the mirror of your heart. Beautiful, right?
I like that. Like, got to wipe away the grime so the light can shine through.
You got it. And that's Tazkiya, the Sufi idea of purification. Dr. Larijani says it's like you're polishing this mirror so it reflects the divine light perfectly.
Okay, so what are those smudges we got to clean off? What's blocking that light usually?
Anything that keeps you stuck, negative self-talk, those grudges we hold on to, beliefs that limit you, I'm not good enough, that sort of thing.
Oof. Yeah, we've all been there. Human stuff, right?
For sure. But here's where it gets tricky. Dr. Larijani warns against Takla just blindly following rules. True Tazkiya. You gotta go deeper than just rituals. Connect with the heart of it.
So like that Hindu man and the Turk. It wasn't that their religion, but a deeper thing.
Exactly. Which brings us to the teacher's role. Dr. Dinani says, in Sufism, a teacher isn't giving you answers. They're guiding you to the wisdom already inside you.
He uses this midwife analogy, right? Like helping you give birth to your own wisdom.
Powerful stuff. It means we all have the potential. We just need the right support to bring it out.
Man, this is making my brain do backflips, but in a good way. But what about Rumi's poetry itself? Do we overthink it, miss the heart by getting stuck in the words?
Good point. Dr. Larijani warns about that. It's not a science problem to be solved. It's more like a love song to the divine, you
You
know?
try explaining a joke, it just dies, right? Same kind of thing.
Totally. And Dr. Dinani's like, approach it with love. Rumi's pouring out his soul's yearning in these poems.
So less analysis, more. Just letting it hit you in the feels.
Yep. It's like reading about a sunset versus seeing it. Words can't capture that awe.
You miss the wonder if you're too busy taking notes.
And that's what lets it bypass your brain and go straight to the heart. And Dr. Dinani even says, reading Rumi is like looking at the night sky. Get too focused on individual stars, you miss the breathtaking whole.
I do that all the time in life, don't I? Miss the forest for the trees.
We all do, but Rumi reminds us, approach life and his poetry with that childlike wonder.
Okay, I'm getting this now, more and more. But back to the companionship thing. It feels tied to Fana, that Sufi idea of annihilation. Sounds kind of intense, to be honest.
It does, yeah. But Dr. Dinani clarifies, it's not about wiping out your ego. It's more like dissolving the illusion that we're separate.
So not erasing who I am, but...
More like, each of us is a drop of water, and Fana is merging into the ocean. We keep our unique form, but we're part of something huge.
Whoa. Okay, I see that. So it's that recognition that brings true companionship.
Exactly. Paradoxical, but beautiful, right? Realizing we're all in this together, yearning for connection. That's where we find it with Rumi, with each other, with the divine itself.
Mind blown. And suddenly this whole separated from himself thing is starting to make a lot more sense.
It's a journey, that's for sure. And maybe this is just the first step. It's a journey, that's for sure. And maybe this is just the first step. What I find really interesting, though, is that Rumi doesn't want us to approach this as some heavy, serious thing. It's more about lightness, even joy, you know?
Yeah, you're so right. His poetry, there's a playfulness there, almost a sense of humor. That's got to be why he's still so popular centuries later. Doesn't sugarcoat the hard stuff, but also doesn't take himself too seriously.
And that comes through in how Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani talk about him, too. There's this clear reverence, but they also point out the humor, the human side of his work. Like, hey, spirituality doesn't have to be all doom and gloom.
Enlightenment is a serious business, but you don't have to take it seriously. Someone smart said that, right?
Nailed it. And I think that's key to this whole companionship paradox. He's not giving you a rule book to happiness. He's like, come play with these ideas. Find what's real for you.
Let's dance together on this path of self-discovery, that kind of thing.
Exactly. And speaking of dancing, it reminds me of something Dr. Larijani said about Fana. It's not about becoming this blank slate, no personality left. More like learning to dance with the divide, move in harmony with something bigger than ourselves.
Not erasing who I am, but becoming part of something bigger.
Yeah. And that brings us back to that teacher as midwife idea. They're not trying to mold you into some specific shape. They're helping you find the form that's already within you.
Uncovering your own dance moves, so to speak.
Perfect analogy. And Dr. Dinani points out it's ongoing. Not like you reach enlightenment and you're done. It's constant refinement, polishing that inner mirror we talked about.
The dance never ends, just changes steps.
And you might stumble sometimes. That's where the teacher comes in, like steadying you, reminding you of the steps. But they can't do it for you.
You got to find your own rhythm in life and on the dance floor.
Maybe that's where Rumi's companionship is most valuable. Not a choreographer telling you exactly how to move, but another dancer cheering you on even when you trip up.
Go for it. Find your own way to express the divine. That's the message.
And that's where Tazkiya, the purification, comes in. Letting go of those limiting beliefs, the ones saying, you're not good enough, you're doing it wrong.
Making space for your own true expression, however it looks.
You got it. And remember what Dr. Larijani said about taqlid, blind following. It's not about copying someone else's dance, no matter how cool it looks. Find your own way to move with the divine music.
Maybe that's the key to Rumi's whole paradox. It's not about finding someone perfect. It's about someone who sees your potential, even when you don't, and lets you dance freely.
And reminds you, even the best dancers were beginners once, taking those clumsy first steps.
So it's okay to be messy, imperfect. In fact, that's maybe where the deepest connection happens.
Finding beauty in the messy dance of life. Yeah, that's Rumi for you. Laugh at yourself a little, enjoy the journey, and don't forget we're all moving together.
I love that image. Like this giant cosmic dance floor and everyone's invited. No matter what level you're at, just come as you are.
And that's so important these days, right? With all the pressure to be perfect, fit in, Rumi's like, nope, be you, messy bits and all. In fact, that's where the real connection is.
Come as you are. Let's dance under the stars. That's what I'm hearing.
And those stars, perfect symbol for the divine, right? That vastness that holds us all, reminding us we're never truly alone, even when it feels that way.
Like we're all connected by these invisible threads of starlight. part of this cosmic tapestry.
And maybe that's the whole point of this self-discovery journey, seeing those threads, realizing we're part of something much, much bigger.
And enjoying the dance along the way, even with a few missteps.
Dr. Dinani said something really cool about approaching Rumi with that sense of wonder. Like, looking at the night sky, we get so caught up analyzing each star, we miss how breathtaking the whole thing is.
Totally. Trying to figure it all out instead of just letting the beauty wash over you.
And that's how we got to approach his poetry, too. Don't overthink it, just let it move you. The meaning will reveal itself in its own time.
Surrender to the experience. Let go of that need to control everything.
Exactly. That surrender, that's huge in Fana, too. Letting go of that me versus everything else mindset.
Realizing we're not just drops in the ocean, but we are the ocean.
Powerful, right? Can be scary, though. Gotta let go of that ego's tight grip. But freeing, too, because suddenly you're not limited by that small self anymore.
Like stepping out of a little boat into this vastness.
That's Rumi's invitation. Through his poetry, dive deep into existence. Explore your own depth. Find that boundless love waiting for you.
Pretty incredible invitation, if you ask me.
It is. And it's for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, what you believe.
Come, whoever you are, if you're thirsty for knowledge, for connection, for understanding yourself, this wellspring of wisdom is for you.
And it's not stagnant water, it's a flowing river, always moving, changing.
A journey without an end, really.
That's what makes it exciting. Always more to discover, learn, experience.
The dance goes on, and we're all part of it.
You know, it's interesting what Dr. Dinani said about the teacher's role in Sufism. He's like, a true teacher, they're not spoon-feeding you answers. They're guiding you to the wisdom you already have.
The midwife analogy, right. Helping you birth your own wisdom.
Such a great image. Means we're all capable of that awakening. We just might need help along the way.
Like the seed of wisdom is there, but it needs the right care to grow. And a good teacher provides that, the nourishment, the support.
And Dr. Larijani added, a good teacher doesn't force their own ideas on you. They encourage you to think critically, question things, find your own WN understanding.
So become your own WN teacher eventually.
Exactly. Not the old school way where the teacher knows it all and you just sit there and listen.
More like sparking a love of learning, respecting that each person's journey is unique.
And Rumi does that too. Don't you think he's not this authority figure? He's more like walking the path with you.
Come explore with me. I don't have all the answers, but here's what I've learned so far.
And he's so humble, admitting he doesn't know it all, makes him relatable, right? Not some distant guru, but a fellow traveler on this messy, beautiful path.
Maybe that's why he feels like such a close companion. Even after all this time, he's still walking beside us, encouraging us to keep seeking, keep questioning.
And maybe that's his biggest lesson. The journey is the destination. Not about reaching some perfect endpoint, but embracing the whole process. The good, the bad, the confusion, the clarity.
Learning to dance with life, finding the rhythm in the chaos, and yes, finding the beauty in each step.
Beautiful way to put it. And man, we need that reminder these days with everything going on. It can feel so overwhelming.
It's a message of hope, of resilience, that we're not alone in this.
And maybe Rumi's greatest gift to us is reminding us that we're all connected, part of something so much bigger than ourselves.
And even when we feel most separated, there's this love, this presence, ready to embrace us if we just open ourselves up.
A love that goes beyond time, beyond anything we can grasp with our minds, deep and vast as the ocean itself.
And we can connect with it anytime if we're willing to open our hearts and minds to it.
That's beautiful. And it reminds me of what Dr. Dinani said about inner stillness. It's not about running away from the world. It's about finding that space inside where we can connect with that presence.
A quiet space amidst the storm, yeah.
And Dr. Larijani added, you don't force stillness. It comes through practice, through patience.
Letting go, being present in the moment, and that stillness just arises on its own.
And maybe that's where the real magic is. When you stop trying so hard to control everything, that's when something bigger can flow through.
Let go and let God, right?
Exactly. It's not giving up. It's recognizing there's a power bigger than us at work in the universe. And when we align with that, when we let go and trust the flow, that's when amazing things happen.
Like we become a channel for that energy, letting it work through us out into the world.
And that's pretty mind-blowing when you think about it. We can be instruments of peace, love, healing, just be being present, open, surrendered.
We're not just watching this play of life, we're in it, actively shaping it with every choice we make.
And it starts with that inner shift, letting go of the ego's control, embracing the fact that we're all interconnected.
Which brings us right back to Rumi's paradox of companionship, doesn't it? It's not about finding someone to complete you, it's realizing you're already whole.
Part of something much, much bigger than we can imagine.
And that's a powerful realization. We're not just isolated individuals, we're these drops in the ocean of being, connected to everything, to the source of it all.
You're getting it. And that reminds me of the story Dr. Dinani told about the Hindu man and the Turk.
Who became best friends without speaking the same language.
Yep. True connection, it goes beyond language, beyond anything superficial.
A soul connection, heart to heart, cutting through all the walls we build between us.
And maybe that's what Rumi was getting at with the whole separated from himself thing.
Like, if you're feeling lost, disconnected from who you really are, walk with me, we'll find our way back home together.
And home isn't a place, it's a state of being. That wholeness, that connection with everything.
The realization that we are the ocean, not just a drop in it.
Pretty amazing to think about, right? We're part of something so vast, so full of love and possibility.
Changes everything once you really grasp it. How you see yourself, the world, how you treat other people.
Maybe that's the whole point of this self-discovery journey. Reaching that realization, embracing it, and living from that place of wholeness, connection.
A journey inwards and outwards, leading us back to ourselves and to each other.
And maybe Rumi's greatest gift is that reminder we're not alone on this path.
There's a love, a presence, always there, guiding us, supporting us, reminding us that we're already home.
There's a love, a presence, always there, guiding us, supporting us, reminding us that we're already home. Powerful stuff, right?
It really is. And, this whole deep dive, it's like Rumi's quote about separation and companionship. I finally get it. At first, I was so confused that now, wow.
It's not just about finding someone who understands your struggles. It's about something way deeper, transforming yourself from the inside out.
Yeah, it's like you got to actively work towards becoming whole. Connect with that true self, that batan.
And that journey, that suluk, the inner transformation, you're not alone in it. We walk that path together, helping each other along the way.
Which makes Rumi more than just a poet. He's like a guide for the journey.
And the cool thing is, he doesn't make it all heavy and serious. He's like, hey, let's have some fun with this. A spirituality can be joyful too.
Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani, they get that too.
Yeah.
Super smart guys, but also warm, funny. Makes these complex ideas easier to digest,
Just like Rumi himself, playful, wise, and so full of love. Life's complicated, sure, but he doesn't let it get him down.
He's like, embrace the paradoxes, the mysteries, and don't forget to see the beauty in it all.
And dance with the divine, even if you step on some toes along the way.
So to everyone listening, take a minute. Think about what really stuck with you from this deep dive. What did you learn about yourself? About that yearning for connection we all feel? And how can you actually use this stuff in your life, on your own journey?
Remember, the path is always there, waiting for you. And maybe, just maybe, it starts with embracing that separated feeling, that longing for something more. That's what connects us to Rumi, to each other, soul to soul.
Beautifully put. And that wraps up episode 5 of Wisdom Unveiled. Keep exploring, keep asking questions, keep seeking that deeper connection, both inside yourself and out in the world. Who knows, you might just find Rumi walking right beside you on that path. Thanks for joining us.